Welcome to the School of Wedding Photography. I'm here with Anna Ambrosi from London and United Kingdom.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
fine, thank you.
Good, good. Thank you for joining us this early.
Oh, no, no worries. My baby wakes up at 7, so
Okay,
really
you're up, yeah.
long day already.
Anna has had work published in Harpers Bazaar and spoken at Way Up North and The Gathering, and is soon to speak at the Nikon Wedding Advanced Campus in Italy. Anna, I the impression I get looking at all of your social media and your website and everything is that you do things a little bit differently to people in the industry. And I wanted to start with a simple question of why did you call your business Bianco?
Ha! This goes way back. So, basically, at the very beginning, I was also doing some work for editorial and commercial. I was represented in Italy by a photo agency. And the feeling, at least in Italy, I wouldn't say globally is like that, but at least in Italy, the feeling was that. Um, Wedding photography was a bit the kind of gig you got to pay your bills, but it wasn't, photography with capital P. Um, so that was one reason. So I wasn't completely sure it wouldn't have been good for me to have my name on the wedding industry, so to say, while I wasn't still sure about which kind of way I wanted to go through. And I know like this this is not something that I would like to say because I kind of regret thinking that because it's so not true. I mean, wedding photography for me has been not a choice to pay my bill. It has been a very, very mindful choice, and I love it.
Mm.
And I didn't went on the editorial because I really didn't feel comfortable with that. So that although
In what
was
sense?
one of the reason,
What did you not feel
uh,
comfortable about?
I feel that sometimes editorial is a bit more commercial than commercial itself,
Okay.
meaning that they are strongly looking for something that can produce sensation, and this sometimes mean being definitely too harsh on situations photography wise,
Mm.
and also looking constant as the negative, whatever negative has naturally a higher impact on people than anything positive because it's just as human beings work.
Fear, yeah,
uh, they constantly press on negative, but
yeah.
this is very, I mean, this has a lot to do with how we live and how we feel and how strong we feel about doing something good ourselves uh, towards the world. And I didn't want to be part of that game. Like I didn't like it. I felt it was just wrong. I feel
Mm.
like I would like to read in the paper, of course, whatever important and happens in the world, but also what people do uh, to make this work better, because that
Mm.
would encourage more people to do so. And although I was trying to work in that direction, I soon realized that I probably just I didn't have enough commitment to dedicate my whole life to fight that one battle, and I just didn't feel comfortable. I like
Mm.
weddings because I have the chance to look for beauty, love, and those are two things that I really believe in. And so gives sense to my work and what I do while I'm not with my family. And this is to me uh, really important. I
Yeah.
would have, I mean, I was used to be a business consultant before. I could have easily carried on doing that job anyway. It was well paid and nice job, safe.
Mm.
So
Why did you leave that?
7 years ago now, six, no, no, 10 years ago. Oh gosh, I'm getting old. Yeah, but yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
I was 26, 27, something like that.
And what made you move across to photography?
Usual personal drama making you realize that the life should be lived fully. And
Yeah.
once a colleague, we were working for, he was an editorial photographer as well, and he told me, I mean, haven't you realized all photographers are photographers because they have like some kind of issue or trauma they need to get over to? And I thought, oh gosh, you're so right. We are all there. Well, I don't know, probably not like everyone, but a lot of
A lot.
them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of realized I didn't want to spend 9, 10, 11 hours per day in the office, having to, I don't know, have someone that was actually deciding for me what I should have done, if I were authorized to get ill and stay home because and I thought, oh my God, when I'm gonna have a family, this is gonna be impossible. How can I deal with these? And I don't know. I think basically I got into that job because I wanted to be free, and at time I felt like money would have set me free.
Mm.
And then I realized that was a huge mistake because you get trapped into a system that feeds you with money and brings, and then, but then you have to give, of course, something back.
Mm. Mm.
And we are under the impression, I mean, of course, money is super important. I provide at myself since I was very young, so I know it's very important. I need to pay my bill. I mean, of course, I have my husband now, but I really need to work.
Mm.
But at the same time, again, I'm not saying this lightly, but money is something that it's more available than time in a way.
Mm.
Because money, you can produce more money, you can work more, you can do any kind, I mean, you can go and be a waiter, I don't know, whatever, but you can produce money if you need them. You can't really produce more time for yourself. And I think sometimes we should really remember that, because we live in a world in which is amazing. I'm not one of those people hoping to get back to like old times or stuff. I love knowledge of internet. I think it gives us freedom and endless opportunities, but we really need to sometimes stop and realize that time and freedom today is the real luxury, and it's more precious than, I don't know, what money, as long as you have enough for, live, eat and have your family healthy and so on.
Yeah.
Did I lost myself here? I don't remember. Yeah, Bianco, right, Bianco. So that was one reason. Then I also thought, I'm not sure I will want to work on my own for my whole career.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, if I want to have someone who's going to work with me, I don't want them to work for a company that is called like me. Okay. Because I think that it won't help them to have a feeling of ownership in a way of what they're doing. I want to give to my company the feeling that it can be joined by other people. So I wanted to have an idea at the center of my business, and on the other hand, I also wanted to keep my photography business a bit out of my ego in a way. I mean, I really think that the photography I do is half done by me or whoever is working with me, and half by the planners, the people that are actually getting married in front of the camera. A photo is done a lot by who's shooting, of course, but also
By what they're
by what
shooting.
you find in front of you. And so not having my name on my company was also a friendly reminder to myself, like, it's not about you, in a way. And Bianco is the Italian word for white. And I liked it not because it's like traditionally connected to weddings, but because it's Bianco is not really, white is not really a color, but it's basically all the colors together. And I liked the idea that it was a blend of everything, and it was welcoming everything, every color, every feeling, everything. It was something, an idea of openness and kind of a space to be filled. And I'm not sure I will pick that name again now.
Would you pick your own name, or would you stay with a business name?
No. I still stick by the fact that I should really keep my ego under control, like all of us probably. There's a bit of an ego thing going on in the industry.
Tell me more.
That's a complicated.
Don't tell me more. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, there are. It's easy to feel. It's a weird industry, ours, because I think it's a kind of job that wasn't existing before, in a way, because, like, of course, wedding photography was there, but it has never been there in the way we need to be here now. So we need to be ourselves in first line, promoting our own business. We need to take care of everything in our own studios. Even in the situations in which you have a proper studio and people working for you and doing different stuff, still most of the time there's their name out there. And I think I don't say anything new if I say that, like, Instagram stories are something that is probably more powerful than Instagram itself. And even Instagram was something pretty weird to deal with on a business point of view up to a few years ago. So the kind of job situation in which we are now is incredibly new, and I think it can easily be overwhelming, especially as we are alone in our own little office, so to say. But then there's so many people out there that we maybe communicate with even daily through social media or whatever, and we constantly keep ourselves on one hand, we are out there with the best we have, and on the other hand, so we feel the pressure to put out there, like, the curated editing of our life and work. But on the other hand, we are facing all the best that's going on in the world. So we are under a lot of pressure on the other side. So I think it's pretty easy for us to be willing to listen to other people's experience, especially if they are successful one in our eyes, and be willing to get the recipe in a way, or the truth, or a path, or any kind of indication. And that produces, on the other end, people that are, of course, trying to satisfy this need. And it's hard, I think, sometimes to keep the ego out of the work game.
Yeah.
It's just natural. And
so, how do you then manage social media if trying to keep your ego out of it?
I try to be very straightforward, and So to me, social media is really about work most of the time. I don't really use social media that much anymore with my closest friend. It's more about WhatsApp. So, uh, so social media to me are really about work. And my main social media at the moment is definitely Instagram. I don't buy follower, which is, I think, pretty clear as I don't have these high numbers. So it's absolutely clear that I don't do that. And I'm also not very worried about the amount of follower I gain or I get, because I really think it has a meaning, and it has a kind of something. It's something good for me if those people that are following what I'm publishing are actually interested in what I'm publishing. And at the same time, I don't want to keep it all about weddings all the time, because I will get bored to death if I have to look at weddings 24/7 in my life. So I guess someone else also can relate to that. And I know it's not always like that, because this maybe is not being consistent, is not being, even in my editing, I don't care too much about consistency, to be honest. I really try to put on my Instagram what I liked shooting, what I do sometimes repost from, I don't know, fashion weeks or products that I like, or I'm pretty much into mindfulness and meditation. So when I get to share something of that, I'm happy to. And well, my Instagram stories is pretty filled with my baby as well. So so just I put out there what I think it might be nice to share, and that's more or less it.
Okay.
So
okay. Yeah.
but it's working. I mean, I got, even if I don't have high numbers, I got few clients coming from there. And what is really nice is that we are usually really, really connected, and we are really, really on the same page on the kind of taste we have in terms of fashion, clothes, and which, despite this white T-shirt, is really important to me.
It's a classic. The white T-shirt's classic.
Yeah.
What now? The work that you were doing before photography, was that marketing or something else?
Yeah, but probably not in the way we are used to think about marketing. I was using to do analysis on big database, so
okay.
million of records.
Okay.
And so I was used to basically take this database and connect them through programming system that was I'm not sure I have all the English words to translate this, but basically I needed to program a mathematical formula to get some information out of those.
Out of the database.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when I got those numbers, I needed to, of course, translate them to the marketing division of the company I was working for.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was more or less the kind of work I was doing. But yeah, it was marketing. They were deciding which kind of promotion to put in their shops, or
based on the data.
Those calculations.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And do you think you've brought anything from that that time in your life into photography? Any skills?
Definitely. Yeah, especially. Well, I wouldn't say specifically from calculating these kind of things, but I think sometimes as photographers we are a bit too much of artists, and not really. We don't really think about ourselves as entrepreneur, and I think it's honestly a bit wrong, because we can be artists all we want, but we are still doing a job under commission. And this means and it is not only a job under commission, but it's also the job that is gonna make you pay for your bills. And this has somehow to be in the picture, because if you don't want to put all of this into the picture, then you are an artist, and okay, but then either you have money to live out of something else, or it's just, I mean, it's nonsense to me to pretend to be completely free in your own art when you need your public, you need your market, and you also are working for someone else. And I think it's even a way to be respectful, to consider that you have a public. And when I speak publicly, I often share a scene of this film, which is called The Walk. I don't know if you saw it. It's the story of Philippe Petit, who walked. He put a wall between the Twin Towers.
Twin Towers,
and
yeah.
And there's this wonderful scene in which his teacher kicks him off his studios because he's saying, "I don't want to greet to salute the public, because I'm not a circus whatever. I'm an artist, and I don't care about my public." And he said, if you don't acknowledge the public, you don't even deserve to walk on the wire. And to me, that's pretty much fitting. We really need to consider, I think, our public, our clients, their needs before anything else. And I mean, of course, blending it into our art and whatever we do and we feel it's honest for us to do. But we really need to consider that our art is under commission.
So what about the argument that you will find, if you put out the work that you like doing, you will find clients who that appeals to?
Yeah, I think it absolutely works, but I think the only thing it's missing in this sentence or way we often talk one another is that we give the responsibility of creating what we put out there to whatever happens to us. Like if I get to shoot an amazing wedding, then I'm gonna show that, and then I will get those kind of clients. And sometimes we complain because people don't want to risk to do something that maybe we want to do, and we feel like, why people don't dare to do something really different? Why people don't dare to go there or wear like that, or like why? And while in my opinion, when it's absolutely true that people buy only what they see, and that's absolutely natural. And I will dare honestly everyone. I mean, it's one day in your life. You kind of have to get it right, and you are emotionally involved. You never do that, so it's hard. It's unlikely for them to risk it that much. So sometimes I feel it's just our responsibility to show them what they could have or what they might be willing to have. And I did that 2 years ago because I've never been always a huge believer into group shots, to be honest, because at the very beginning I was also a bit seduced by the idea of getting everything natural and reportage and so on. But then getting married myself and thinking a lot about that, I realized at the end of the day, group shots are something incredibly important in a family photographic history. And I got more and more into that. And I was really sad that all my clients, and generally speaking, all the people I was talking to, they were so negative about those. Like, oh no, no, yeah, we hate that moment in which, we're all there, all these pose shots and stuff. But at the same time, I realized they were saying that, or my educated guess was that they were all saying that because they were educated to say so, because everyone is saying so. So they feel that they have to say, I don't want to get any post shot because it's not cool. It's not what like really cool people do. Really cool people just go there, have whatever kind of picture because it's super natural, it's super relaxed and so on. And so I invested a huge, what for me was a huge amount of money to create just one group shot, but perfectly lit with a huge studio light, with all people sitting in different, like a bit. Of course, my inspiration was like Annie Leibovitz, and I didn't get there, but I really wanted to look like group shots can be that boring soccer team thing that you do and you can't wait to be over, or if you just give me 2 more minutes, it can be something like this, and maybe you want those. And guess what? A lot of people, I mean, and I didn't even stop there. I told them, if you want this, you have to pay more for this, because I'm not going to do this for free. And so I started with people telling me, oh no, we don't even want group shots. Then I was showing them this one photo, and they were like, oh my God, no, we love this one. Let's do this. How much does it cost? Let's do this. So what I'm saying here is just you put out there the work you want to do, and it's true. Then people will buy for it. But you have to remember that sometimes, as they can't imagine really what they want, I mean, it's not their job. You have to create and to show them what's your idea. And maybe it's not just a simple style shoot with the nice table and the nice dress. Maybe you really to get deep into what you want to do in your working history path or whatever. And I mean, and you need to work beforehand, before your client will be able to buy those things for you.
Okay. It seems like you are actually putting a lot of thought into almost forgetting about what's happening in the industry and putting thought into what should happen at a wedding and photographing a wedding. Well, does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I would say so. I think we, as an industry, we are a bit in a bubble, and because, again, maybe it's just my view on things because I come from Italy, which again is not where like wedding photography has been for a long time a bit of a Cinderella among all other photography areas. But I feel like there has been a moment, maybe around 2010 or so, when social media came out and Pinterest and then Style Me Pretty and all these blogs, in which wedding photography had its moment. And so we were all, oh my God, yes, now we get to be the heroes, because we are really getting the real deep emotion, the real moments, the important stuff for everyone, people. And I don't know, I think I've heard like endless examples of photographers going to shoot a wedding and then finding someone nearly dying or died the day after, or like these kind of stories, and then saying, and then I realized my job is really important because those dying people, and it's true. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I even lost a friend 1 month after my own wedding. So I was actually one of those brides having to write to my own photographers and asking for photos. So I get that. But at the same time, so it was natural, so to say. We got this moment. We got, oh my God, yes, we are also doing something really worthy. And our photography isn't worth any less than editorial or commercial or any other kind. But then I feel like there must be a moment in which we also step back for a moment and we say, okay, so we are like everyone else. But guys, at the end of the day, we're not saving lives. We're wedding photographers. My husband told me once, I've seen roads that are named after engineers, doctors. I've never seen a road named after a wedding photographer yet. So please chill, calm down.
I feel like there's someone out there in the industry thinking already that I'll be the first.
Yeah. And he was like, calm down, you're going to deliver this wedding tomorrow, okay? Because they're freaking out at the moment. And it's like, it's pointless. You're a wedding photographer. Calm down.
Yeah.
And I know it's a tough balance, because on one hand you really need to get involved in the job, and on the other hand you also need to sometimes, I think, step back a little bit and say, okay, guys,
perspective,
all good, but
yeah.
So
I mean, is there any other ways that you are sort of aware of in which you have done things differently to the industry or the bubble, and sort of focused more on client?
It has always been, I always try to publish, of course, like everyone else, but I always felt for me it was really complicated to get into the logic of what blogs and publication, generally speaking, wanted. I feel now that little by little, I'm getting published to online magazines that are a bit closer to what I read. That probably it was because a few things didn't make much sense to me to start with. Like, of course, wedding blogs want to get inspiration about all the details of a wedding, but the example that I often do is we do those picture of invitations, with those nice lay flats with flowers and everything. But I always intimately thought, why are we do that? Like, can't the bride and the groom just save one and put it in the album? Like, why do I need to take a photo of this? It's like still paper. I don't know, like, why? And of course we do that because we want to get published, and the publication wants to have that photo. And the situation now is that, sorry, even the bride wants to get that photo because she has seen so many weddings done that way that she thinks that's the standard. Mm-hmm. And it is. I mean, I do that. It's not that I'm not doing that on a wedding day, because now it's kind of in the standard, so I do that. But at the same time, every time I do it, I feel like, is this like really, I mean, why? Why am I doing this? And so I think one of the things I did differently wasn't actually proactively differently. It's just I didn't get a few things that I was doing anyway, but I kind of didn't get the sense out of it. What I tried to do against, so to say, the industry has been to remove myself from all these things that I was into. I'm not into competitions anymore. I don't do any of those.
Why not?
Because it's overcrowded and over loud, and generally speaking, there's no whatsoever kind of editorial situation out there connected to weddings that actually represent what I think, especially because in a way, I'm not that much into weddings. I get that weddings are, it's my business, and so I'm interested in weddings, but I'm not 24/7 into that. And if I connect with a bride, with a client of mine, it's not because she's getting married. We connect because wedding is one occurrence in a life rich of other things that we connect with. And so I don't know, I don't see why I should submit to a wedding competition, because then it gets to be again all about weddings, and maybe wedding photography, which is even air quote worse in a way, because it's again, like it's their wedding. It's not a photo shoot. It's what's happening there is that they are getting married, and if they are getting married at a time of the day that it doesn't suit photographs, I don't care. My responsibility is to bring home the best pictures I can. But if they want to get married in pitch dark because it means something to them, I'll never, ever go to them and say, look, guys, all nice and good about the pitch dark, but it's going to be pitch dark. So you're not going to get, the sunset kind of feeling, because they don't care. I mean, my clients don't care. I think the average amount of time that I get for couple portraits at my weddings is like 2 minutes, because they don't care. It's just, I mean, once they have one picture of them nicely taken, maybe they look into the camera because they know I'm there. I mean, there is nonsense. They pretend I'm not there while I'm running around them with 2 cameras, 2 videographers, possibly an assistant. They have been 3 hours under the makeup. They have a wedding dress that is huge, and it's probably cost at least, I don't know, but well, it costs a lot, and it's never going to happen again. It's not that I can really ask to get a natural situation out of it. Like, yeah, guys, just go and pretend we are all not here. They know I'm there. It's like, just look into camera, be happy, and celebrate this moment. That's more or less. And once they have one, which is good, they then want to go back to their family and friends, because that's what they want to do, right? Like, it's so I don't know. It's not that I have much material on my point of view to really compete with other photographers that are actually into wedding photography. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know, but
yeah, no, I guess I'm just wondering about if this sort of industry has created a situation where you have brides expecting certain shots and expecting a certain
definitely.
Yeah,
and I do have as well those kind of brides. It's not that I just have careless people, but I think it how can I say, probably because of the things that I show. Again, they are less and less. They don't, I mean, of course weddings for them is a big deal, but it's not a big deal because they're gonna get that one amazing shot out of it. It's a big deal because they are getting married.
Yeah.
So they have amazing celebrations. They go bold. Often my clients go pretty bold with things.
They what? Sorry.
They go pretty bold on.
Oh yes, okay. Extravagant.
So they kind of go with that, but which is amazing for me because I love that. I really enjoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are not. I think they overall are more excited about the situation itself, which again allows me to get really nice photos. I think one of my favorite photos ever is in my homepage is this bride. She was just walking in this amazing room, and she turned towards me, and she had this like amazing dress, like the most amazing dress I've ever seen. It was made to measure by tailor-made by Elise Saab, and of course, like there, we wanted to get a nice picture of the dress, but I could have never done such a picture without her being in that dress, and that wasn't on me at all. Like, she got for the dress, and I think that the fact that we both were so appreciating about the dress made the photo, not the other way around. And So yeah, I think that's more or less where I am at the moment in terms of being out of the industry logic.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, I'm working a lot on this family portrait thing. That's my main research at the moment. So I'm working really a lot on that.
Do you mean the group shots or
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
So
And so,
basically, yeah.
sorry, go on.
Sorry. No, you go.
Wait, you add that as it's an extra service to a wedding day, is it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And it's basically I have a studio light and it's an extra service, not just because I'm greedy, which probably I am anyway, but it's also because they really need to be committed to that for it to be
work.
worth it.
Yes.
Yeah, because they need to take some time out of the day. It's not going to be long. It's not going to take a lot of time, but they really need to be there and be listening to me. And if I tell them you sit this way, they have to sit that way for the whole thing to work.
Yeah.
So putting that as an extra service guarantees me that they listen to me, that they know they are committed to that. Because if I were to just say, you know what, I'm just going to do it, don't worry, they will have that mindset in mind. Like, yeah, it's something extra, but if we don't do that, doesn't really matter. And it does matter to me, big deal, because going around Europe or wherever they are with this like studio lighting, it's a bit of a pain. So if I get there with the light and everything and the setup, they really need to show up because so it makes sense. Of course, if I have at the beginning when I needed to build my portfolio, I gave it for free to a few couples that I knew they had the right setting, the right. I knew it could have been something that I could have used for my portfolio. So of course, in that case, I was, because I had just one again. I literally took that one photo. I was 9 months pregnant. It was nonsense.
Wow.
I when I look at that, I think I don't really know how I did that, but I just had that one. And of course, it was a bit of a mix and match of the people I knew here in London. I dressed them up. But it's not like a real proper wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first 6 months, of course, I just tried to build my portfolio, but then it was fine because people went to see the product. Yeah, it's pretty easy to.
How old is your child now?
18 months.
18 months. And how do you balance being a mum and freelance entrepreneur?
I don't. I don't know. I just don't. No, well, I thought a lot about that. And so the first year has been pretty much intense. I'll just say intense. But it was hard because, I don't know, I had this idea in my mind that I would have worked while he was sleeping and he doesn't sleep. Mm-hmm. Or I don't know, I felt like I would have adjusted, and it just doesn't happen. Basically, I had to squeeze a full-time job into bits and I don't know, really few minutes or hours when I got those. I had to outsource my editing. That was the first thing I did. Thankfully, I got the idea of outsourcing the editing when I understood I was pregnant, so I had time to make the team ready.
Yeah.
And then again, my husband was incredibly supportive because he took 3 months parental leave and he traveled all across Europe with me in the first season I got with my baby. But it's, I think what's really important to acknowledge is that we live in a world that makes us think that we should, that we can have it all, and therefore we should have it all. And if you don't, you feel a bit less of yourself. And it's a big fat lie. I mean, you can't have it all. Something has to, and sometimes it's you, sometimes it's your family, sometimes it's your work. So, and the sooner you realize you have a certain amount of energy and you need to decide where you're going to cut, the better. Because I was used to put, I would say, 100% of my energy is in my work and life. So I was very active. And when you have a baby, you suddenly have another person to be 100% there for. So your energy, even if we consider some kind of, I don't know, discounts of energy here and there, maybe you are 150% loaded, but still there's a 50% over, and you can't really be 100% all the time. So it's clear that somehow you need to know where you need to cut things. If you don't do, life is gonna do it for you. So it's better if you take the responsibility. I think I started to understand that pretty early on, because after 3 months, I lost my milk. I was working, I was traveling with the baby, and I planned to travel with the baby because I wanted to breastfeed, and I just lost it, and there has been no way to have it back. And I mean, I know it's probably not directly connected to the fact that I was working, but I know deeply inside, I know that was my body telling me, look, like you have to cut out something here, because we're not dealing with all of this another day. And so I realized that, of course, adjusting while you're running into a busy season is not as easy. Again, I was very lucky. My husband was really supportive, but I think the biggest lesson I've learned last year has been to accept that there are some limits, and it's fine. I mean, you just have to adjust the better you can. And this year, I think I got to the end of the season pretty well. So, like, I survived so far. And my idea for the coming months, so in which I'll be more in UK, even though I have a few things here and there, but still I'm gonna be a bit quieter, is to be sure that I find a balance, so I get to be the person, I keep to be the person I want to be towards my clients, towards my family, and yeah, of course,
towards yourself.
I'm ready to let something go if needed, but
yeah. Are you changing, or do you have any plans to change your business to do less weddings, or to charge more, or something, in order to help?
I was used to do around 25 weddings a season before having the baby, and I'm around, honestly, between 15, 18.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good dimension for me, especially because they are getting to be more and more 2-3 days events. So it means to me being away from England, actually, for maybe 4 days in a row, which with a small kid sometimes is challenging. So I think between 15 and 18 is a good average for me. And of course it means knowing my economics, that I might need to charge more in the future. At the moment, I think I'm fine. What I'm trying to do is to get more people involved in my own business. So I will start probably, I actually did start, but we're going to be out in the coming months doing videos as well.
Okay.
So videography. it's gonna be a new division, and then I'm gonna work with other photographers as a second shooter, third shooter, fourth shooter when needed. There are some weird weddings coming out, and so Bianco is actually getting to become a bit more of an welcoming environment for different things. I also, my dream will be also to involve different kind of artists working on research for private portraiture outside photography. So, for example, I looked for a collage artist for a long time, but I never found someone who actually committed to that. I wanted to create collages with with the wedding photos of these people.
Okay.
Mixed with some kind of memorabilia from the day or vintage finds. And eventually I started to do them myself because it's something I've always been interested in. So there's also that. It really calms me down. So it's really a mindful activity for me. So I'm not sure where that thing is going to go, but at the moment I'm also doing something about that, and I'd love to have some painters maybe on board, and so I'd really like for Bianco to get to be a kind of hub of private portraiture.
Interesting. Okay. Knowing what you know now, if you were starting again in the industry, what would you do? If you were starting now in the industry, what would you do?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think probably I will care less of a few things that I really cared a lot about. Maybe, I was always look out to other people's work, and I don't know, when I started, for example, there was this huge thing about being minimal, so like the kinfolk kind of style, which really is not, I appreciated a lot, but it wasn't mine. So I think a few of my early works had this influence that wasn't really work well for me, because it's not who I am. So I think if I were to start again, the first thing I will do is to try to seek inspiration, which is important, but from completely other sources, not wedding industry, because you can't really say something new if you don't pick from other sources, I think. And I don't know. I think somehow, I don't know if I will do something completely different, because probably the best thing you can do is follow the flow in your life as well as your business. And it's good for you to be open to and ready to listen to what I don't want to say to what the universe tells you, but I have to say it because I really feel like I'm this kind of witch. I just do the flow, and anything else is gonna matter. But I really actually do believe that we should be a bit more, clear in our heart and in our mind, and be open to listen and to see where our path leads us, because sometimes it's just really letting things go, and to me it has always worked out very well. And intuition is a big is a power we have, and we underestimate a lot. And so I would just say go, and maybe something else, then not to be, I'll try not to be so downlifted. Is that even an English word? Well,
no.
put down. No, when you feel sad about yourself when you do a mistake.
Oh, yeah, downbeat, I think maybe is what you mean. Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
yeah.
You feel, oh God, like, if you have a failure, it doesn't mean you are a failure.
Yeah.
And this is something that I kind of need to keep telling myself constantly, but Of course, at the very beginning, it's worse because you always have this imposter syndrome, like, oh my God, they're really buying this stuff. They will understand sooner or later. I'm no photographer.
Yeah.
Oh God. And so I will just take a bit easier on me,
yourself.
probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Where does your intuition tell you you'll be in 5 years?
Oh, my intuition tells me you don't have elements to see yourself in 5 years, because I think what I really want to do now is to remind myself to be flexible enough to. I mean, I really want to enjoy this time with my kid, because I'm not sure I'm gonna have another one, to be honest. We don't know. I want to be. I want that potential second kid to be a true decision, something that I really proactively want, and I'm not sure, and that's gonna kind of make my life better. I don't know how. Of course, it's gonna make my life better, but you have to something has to give. So I want to decide to go for a second baby.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I'm not sure I will, or my husband and I will. So this could be my only time dealing with 1 to 3 years old.
Yeah.
And it's a sensitive moment for them when they are growing up. So I think I really want to be in the next few years, as while he's so little, I want to be flexible enough to be open to his needs. So, and it's not gonna always be like that, but at the moment this has a bit priority to me. And so thinking in 5 years is a bit against that. For my job. I would say a more realistic approach to my job for my intuition is 1 year time. So for next season, what I want is I want to be mindful for my clients, for my business, for the people who works for me. I want my work to be surrounded by positive feelings. So I want people working with me being happy and satisfied and feeling like they are building something nice and meaningful. I want my clients to feel like they got a wonderful experience and they got nice photos, hopefully. And I want to feel calm. So I want my business to be sort of safe. It took a great deal of energy for me to navigate through the first 2 seasons with the kids. So my hope for the next year is just things to get a bit easier and calmer on me. So have some, hopefully, energy to think not just at the present, but also maybe looking towards the future and what I could build and do for my clients.
Yeah. Anna, thank you. Thank you for your time and sharing your thoughts with us. If people want to follow you, where are you on Instagram?
It's Anna, ANNA_ Bianco photography.
Okay. Is that where you hang out most?
Yeah, I would say so. But they can write me emails anytime. Might take me a few hours to get back, but I usually do. So.
And what's your website?
Facebook. It's www.biancophotography.com.
Okay.
I'm realizing I should have a shorter URL. Probably you will doubt. But yeah, please just email me, get in contact. We're more than happy to, especially if you're a mom dealing with a destination wedding business.
Yep.
Come.
Yeah, speak to Anna. Okay.
Yeah, we can have a virtual coffee together through Skype whenever you want.
Lovely. All right. Thank you, Anna. Take care.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.